It is April 17th, 2021. We're here at the front of the property, located at 1791 Primrose Avenue in El Cajon, California, 92020. We're going to do a sewer camera inspection for the city of El Cajon. So as you're looking at the property here, on the left side of the house, we have one bathroom, considered a hall bathroom, full bathroom. And then all the way on the right-hand side of the house, we have a second full bathroom. That is the master bathroom. So we're going to go ahead and start from the master bathroom on the right side of the house. It is in the middle of the home, of the walls, so there's no clean-out access because it's not facing an exterior wall in any portion. So we're going to go up on the rooftop and go through the vent to go ahead and inspect that beginning portion of the sewer system. Okay, so you can see we're now here on the rooftop on the right side of the house, and right here we have a 4-inch original cast iron vent. This would lead directly into the beginning of the sewer system for this side of the house, for this bathroom. We'll see which way the path the pipe goes. We got a little bit of cobwebs on the line. We may need to pull our camera back out to wipe that off. We'll see once we get to the bottom here. Okay, so as you can see right here, this vent is actually not connected into the sewer system anymore. So we are actually looking at the crawl space of the house. We are not in the sewer system or piping. This is actually the dirt and ground below the house. The house is on crawl space. So somebody remodeled and changed the piping here, and they left this open. So this obviously needs to be capped because all the rainwater and other things will go directly into the crawl space and anything else. So still got some cobwebs on our line. We're going to wipe it off with our lens here. Okay, so this is where we're at. So that needs to be properly capped, and so now we're going to pause and see if the other vents that may be up here do still connect into the sewer system in the proper way. Okay, so there's the vent we just tried to go through that is not connected to anything. So the only other vent we have right here is this 2-inch, and this looks to be like it's possibly, it is cast iron. We weren't sure if it was galvanized or cast iron from the outside being all painted over. It does appear to be cast iron. You can see there's a lot of flaking on the inside, so we might get little chunks of debris coming down, falling down the pipe. There you go. So this line is completely blocked. So this vent pipe, assuming it is still connected to the system, since the other one was abandoned, we just don't know. As you can see, we're only about 6 feet vertically down from the rooftop here, and it's completely blocked. So the old pipe, which is corroding, possibly may have been snaked over time, but in general this can do it on its own. The walls of the pipe have flaked and come apart and disintegrated, and now they've blocked the entire vent system, which of course is needed to allow gases to escape, and more importantly also to let air into the system so you don't get airlock. So we cannot perform an inspection on this portion of the main sewer. We're going to have to go ahead and look to see what they need to do to get all these vents corrected. This one needs to be repaired right here, and if it's even being active or not is the other question. And then we have no active vents for this bathroom as of right now. Now this 2-inch here could be utilized for everything, but the way the bathroom is laid out, I believe downstairs, there's no way one vent, I think, can service everything because of the different walls that they're actually on. There's no way they could have intersected. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and pause and try to look in the crawl space and see what was done here, because something is not correct. Okay, so we're going to come down from the rooftop here, but we want to show this one more time. So this is the skylight, and we're above the rooftop here. Above the master bathroom on the rooftop here. So it appears that this would be the lavatory sink. It's on a wall that we have right here, and then perpendicular to that, across there, we see that 4-inch vent. That's where the shower stall and the toilet are. Now we went into the crawl space, and we did see that everything was changed out to ABS plastic. We see the sewer line from the toilet running across, and they have a combo T, and it picks up right above it the santee that picks up the trap arm from the shower, and then that pipe does go vertically up above the floorboard. So they're using the shower stall in this master bathroom as what's called a wet vent. And then the pipe, though, that goes up from there, there is a pipe, which would be the vent pipe for both the toilet and the shower stall, but it's not connecting to this 4-inch pipe you see right here. And there's no other flashing or anything else on the rooftop here on this side of the home. So that vent right there is for the laundry. And as we go across and look over the top here, we have our kitchen vents on the other side right there. So basically there's an issue that if this lav vent is still connected to the newer plastic piping that was installed for the sink drains, it may or may not be connected to this vent at all. That has to be verified by either cleaning this one out and then seeing if it's interconnected, or opening up the wall under the sinks and seeing what they did, or just checking in the attic space if there's enough of an attic to look to see what they did. They might have done an illegal Studer vent or an auto vent, or just stubbed the pipe up and left it in the attic. We don't know. Same thing for the toilet and the shower stall. There's hopefully a vent pipe going up the wall all the way into the attic or close by. We don't know if it's just left there, how far it was brought up. There's no way to basically check that from up here. So the one thing we did though find is on the side of the house here, they did extend over in the very corner a 4-inch clean out for the sewer. So they did run a clean out where we will be able to gain access today to look across this sewer piping here to head over. So we're now going to move off the rooftop and go from there. Okay, so we've now come down to the right side of the house. About 10, maybe 15 feet off the bathroom. On this side of the house would be the right side of the house as you're looking at it. They did bring this 4-inch clean out. We just undid the plug and it is completely full of buildup in here. So I don't know if the slope is slightly off, but also what we have here is a 2-inch line right here coming from across all the way in the back. So there's another little building all the way back off by the pool area, and that does have a bathroom in it. And that bathroom is using a sump pump system. So the sewer line is actually a sewer ejection system, and it runs from the very far back building underground all the way to over here where you see this ABS pipe coming here and then out, and then it branches into the main sewer over here. So this 2-inch line is not to code because California does not allow ABS pipe to be exposed outside. You can actually see how this one's getting weathered and the color's fading, and it'll cause it to get brittle, crack. So cast iron has to be used in all exposed areas. Some municipalities will allow you to go ahead and put a coating over or a wrap around the pipe and then protective UV paint. But most municipalities just tell you to go ahead and put in cast iron pipe. So this would need to be changed out. The rest of this top pipe could be shaded, but all this other exposed is supposed to be cast iron to bring it to code. So that's where the sewer ejection system from the very back unit dumps into here. And then again, this needs to be cleaned up here. We're full of sludge, so we're going to see if we can even get our camera across the top of this pipe here. It's probably going to get clogged up pretty quick here, but we'll go ahead and of course push it through because this is what we need to look to see the rest of the system here. So okay, so you can see we're basically right now we're in standing water. So we are not to code here because this portion of the system is gravity. So this system here is not part of the sump pump system. This is the 4-inch sewer. The 2-inch pipe we just showed that is on sump pump goes up vertically and then comes down downward at an angle from the crawl space and dumps into this. So this 4-inch pipe is the whole gravity sewer system, and as you can see, it's holding water, so the slope is not correct. It is not to code, and that explains why we see all this debris right here. So the 2-inch is connected the correct angle into the 4-inch, but that's why you see all this backup and buildup is because the slope is not correct. So all this stuff is floating up and then backing up in reverse and floating across the system. So we're going to continue down the line right here, and we'll see if we eventually kind of you can see all this sludge and other buildup that's on the bottom of the pipe. The other thing we'll note is we have one of the newer sewer cameras on the market from Rigid, and it has a tilt meter on there, so it's not always dead on precise, but on the very bottom of the screen it shows the angles. And the negative degrees, it needs to be a minimum of -2 degrees. That is essentially a 1/4 inch per foot or so, right around there. In certain pockets right here, we're seeing plus or 0. So that's why we know that the pipe is holding water, other than obvious visual, because we're at a positive degree here, and it's all supposed to be negative slope. Again, a minimum requirement in the state of California of a 1/4 inch of slope for every foot you travel. This is still all positive on a reading, and there we go. We finally came out of all that sludgy water. We're going to come and back up the camera here just slightly, and you can see all this stuff kind of just laying in the system here, not draining out properly, all built up into there. So we're now going to continue down this pipe here. We have our T-junction right there. That might be where the toilet dumps into the system. We may have our kitchen and laundry also dumping in. We still have some standing water here, so again, this is not correct. Now, the interesting thing is that this house is on crawl space, and we did notice on the other side of the house, where the other bathroom is, completely on the other side of the house, there is a clean out at ground level that was brought out there when the pipes were possibly replaced, and the pipe actually didn't look very deep in the dirt, so we were kind of almost thinking, how is that even possible for the length the pipe has to travel? And now we know why, because it was not installed correctly. Would have been a lot deeper by the time it got to that portion of the house. And so you can see we're completely underwater here. All this piping has improper slope. We're paper, debris, water, nothing is draining out. Nothing is to code here, unfortunately. So we're all underwater here. Still underwater. There we go. We finally came out there, this one little area you can see, and now we're out here. Coupling right there. We do not have water running. What you're seeing right now is all that buildup of water and sludge that we're pushing with our camera and our push rod, as well as some of it being cleared out from the camera itself, and that's what's causing that water to drag down the line coming from behind the camera face. It looks like we have a 16th degree bend or turn right here, and then another little drop and another corrected 16th bend. Okay, so we're going to pause for 1 second, not pause the video, but hold off here for a second. So again, we're not running any water. The laundry and dishwasher were turned off. We want to go ahead and see how that settles down there, if it's got another bad pocket that's holding water or not. Looks like a lot of that was just the runoff from running the camera there. A little bit off, not perfect, but anyway. So it now looks like we possibly passed that clean out, because it looks like we may be in cast iron pipe now. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video while we go ahead and verify that we're almost about 57 feet out, that we're clear on the other side of the house, and see where we're at. Now, it may not be connected into the other bathroom yet. That might be what was done, but we're going to go ahead and verify that real quick. Okay, so we went ahead and checked the other side of the house from the crawl space, and it does look like there's some cast iron left in the system, possibly before the other bathroom with the newer ABS ties in and then has another ABS clean out. So we didn't think we were far enough, but we wanted to double check here. So it does look like this is some of this original cast. Push through this turns here with our camera here. Having some difficulty getting the camera pushed through this little spot here. We've got a lot of sludge we're dealing with on this back side here, so we're going to go ahead and leave the camera running here, but we're trying to get this moved through the system properly. Because we have those turns on the line, The camera's binding up. It looks like it's a push rod. So we apologize. We may have to get even this is a pretty stiff push rod, but we may have to go ahead and change out to another camera to try to be able to get through this area right here that is not allowing the camera to continue past these multiple turns, the two offsets that they have on the system. And get kind of a running start, but it doesn't look like it's helping. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and have to pause the video for a second here. We're going to have to go ahead and put a little bit stiffer push rod in through the system to get through the turns that they've added on the system here. Okay, so we bought a larger push rod camera assembly to try to get through those turns to get to the next clean out access to show the entire pipe. So you can see we've unfortunately pulled out a lot of this sludge, but there's still tons of buildup in here. So this is a portion of the system we've already seen with the first camera. Again, we lose our view right there because there's so much gunk getting in front of the camera lens. And now we're just essentially understanding floating water and debris. So we're going to move back through this system right here again. Kind of, again, dragging more debris. Our image is completely gone right now, but we are moving on our distance counter. There we go. We're kind of coming out of that a little bit here. A little bit of a view. There's that same junction we saw the first time, that 25-foot mark or so. So we've seen all this already, so we're going to move at a little quicker pace, just so we can get through the next portion of the system. We kind of have to get essentially a running start. And again, we've seen all this on the first camera. Everything is underwater. It is not to code, has improper slope. So got about another 15 feet or so, and then we'll be coming up to the area that hopefully this camera with the stiffer push rod will allow us to continue to get back to the junction where it comes together. So here's our offsets right here. One, here's the second. Here's the cast iron we left off at. So this is the original cast iron still. A little bit of buildup and deposits and scaling, but nothing severe at all. A little bit of standing water here. Now again, at some point this cast iron connects to plastic, so same thing, they may have this little creating a damming effect. We're not totally sure, but you're definitely underwater again, unfortunately. There we go, we kind of come out of that. So a lot of debris in there. So this one might just be able to be cleaned up. We can see, you know, on the right hand side of the pipe right there, we kind of lost vision again. And yeah, this needs to be cleaned up here to see whether or not this has to be replaced. Hopefully it doesn't. Okay, now there's a T-junction right here on the upper right. We believe this is the junction that picks up the other bathroom on the other side of the house, because we could see a cast iron T, and it does go to ABS, and we'll show that with when we move to the other side of the home. So we should be getting really close to the foundation wall right here. And then the other clean out will be coming forward, and we have our camera in there. We left. So there you go. There's the other camera. So this is the clean out that is outside the foundation wall of the house. This is transitioning back to ABS plastic. Now as we back up a little bit right here, you can see this pipe is offset. This is misaligned pipe. This was not done correctly. So on the top of the screen, what you're seeing is the wall thickness of the actual ABS Schedule 40 black pipe. So this black pipe was set too low. You should not see the wall. They should be perfectly aligned, but they're offset or misaligned, and so basically that's why you're seeing the top of the pipe and the wall thickness of the pipe itself. So there's our other camera right there. So we're going to go ahead now and switch over to the other side of the house. But again, you could see a lot of buildup on the cast iron that we passed through here. It still seems to be obviously functional and intact, but at the bare minimum, once the ABS is fixed, they may want to replace all this, or at the bare minimum, this is going to need to be cleaned up, probably with a hydro jetter, so that you remove all this debris, so you don't lead to any stoppages and other buildup that's going to constantly accumulate from more fixtures being added on or used on the system right there. As you can see, we're just holding debris and water still. So So we're now going to pause and move over to the other bathroom, the other side of the house, to continue. Okay, so we're now on the left side of the house here, and this is the wall right here with the bathroom. There's the bathroom window. Right here at the crawl space entry point, they did install a 4-inch ABS clean out here for the sewer. There's the toilet, and there's a standard Santee with a vent, and we can see the 3-inch vent. Still cast iron on the roof, but they obviously tied this one in properly, it appears. So we're now going to go ahead and look at this line across. So we did leave our other camera a little bit forward again to show where we left off. So this is the newer plastic. And again, as we mentioned, it does connect into that old cast iron, which we saw on the upper right-hand side of the screen with the camera we just went through. So here's the cast iron connection. That is a clean alignment. And then here this goes down and across, and there's our other camera that we just left off at. So we pushed it back forward again. We didn't pull it out, just to give you a point of reference. So there's where we left off with the other straight pipe. So this one is okay here for this very short run, and the cast iron is open there. So we're now going to pause really quick and move over to the clean out. Okay, so we moved over on the other side of this HVAC FAU unit here. Here's that bathroom window. The line had come across and down, and here's that other clean out where, again, from the camera we were just in previous, this plastic pipe that was put in is misaligned as it goes back and connects into the cast iron. But we're now going to continue down the line and continue down flow of everything. So you can see there's a little bit of debris on the bottom of the pipe right there. And then it looks like this is newer plastic pipe. This actually looks like white PVC pipe right here. It is holding water, so it appears we do not have proper slope right here as well when this line was installed. So again, there should be nothing hanging out in the pipe, no liquids. You can get some debris as far as heavy paper, feces, or some other products hanging up, but there should never be any liquid. That should all be draining out of the system 100%. So we definitely have improper slope right here, and even our meter, our incline meter, showing positive 1 degrees right here, and that would be another explanation besides the visual, is that the pipe is definitely incorrect. So as we go forward here, we can see we have appears to be a 90-degree turn. Yeah, it looks like a full 90. So now this looks like this may have been hopefully replaced all the way out. We'll see here. So this is all newer plastic. Glue coupling or a Fernco coupling there. Okay, obviously no issues here, all straight, newer plastic pipe. The coupling, you can see it looks like we have another clean out that they installed right here, so just shy of 50 feet from this clean out, there is another clean out there. So if we can't push forward for some reason, we'll be able to locate and see if this one's been brought to surface. Continue down the line though right here. Another coupling coming up here. Looks like we're transitioning to what appears to be some black ABS here. And then we have another clean out right here. You can see the green transition glue that's used for between ABS and PVC. Back to there. We have some turns right here. Looks like more black ABS pipe. PVC couplings and turns right there. And then it looks like this is our transition and dumping into the system. You can see we've got a clay cutout right there, so it looks like there's a saddle on the clay right here where we're dumping into from this plastic. So here's our transition from plastic into clay. Looks like we've got some possible very tiny small roots intruding on the top of that pipe right there. So see that clay hub? There's some very small roots intruding on the top of that hub. So clay is very susceptible to roots because it's just a lubricated rubber boot that gets pushed together. It's not glued or leaded together or banded together and clamped down. So that's why this is one of the most common problems with clay pipe. Continue down the line here. We've gone out pretty far. We've got a lot of turns. We may have to run some water to try to get through here. Let's see. Yeah, it's getting very difficult to push, so we either have to try another camera again, or we're going to run some water first to go ahead and see if we can get this flushed out. So we're at 87 feet right here. We're going to go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so we've hooked up a garden hose and we have some water running through the system right now. We're going to keep recording while the water begins to run by the camera. Again, we're going to do this in an attempt to try to get this camera push rod all the way out to the system to where it connects into the city, which should be relatively soon. So we'll keep the camera running. If it obstructs the view quite heavily, then once we get pushed all the way out, we'll obviously come back in reverse and be able to show it the opposite direction. So, but this is letting us get a few feet out, which is what we wanted to do, and we'll see if this can get us all the way out to the city. So again, we know you're not seeing anything right here, and we apologize, but we're just trying to get out to the city, which it looks like we just dumped into finally here at about 105 feet. So we're now going to go ahead and shut the water off here. We're going to keep the video recording really fast while this water subsides. And then we'll slowly pull back so you can see where we left off was right around 71 feet. So we got out the other 30 feet or so that we could get out to the city here. So we'll look at this when we come back in reverse to make sure there's no more root intrusions that need to be maintained and there's no other issues with the actual piping itself. Okay, so this is clay pipe. Come back up. There's the large city pipe right there. So that is the end of this house's lateral line. So you can see there's some really tiny roots right there on the right hand side of the screen, little stringy roots, and on the upper left as well. So on the right and left of the screen right there you can see some very small ones. Okay, there's some roots right there at that hub right there you can see on the right hand side of the screen. So those are growing in through that clay hub. So those will also need to be hydrojetted and cleaned out or chain knockered out. Back up through this clay pipe slowly here. A little bit of debris right there. That hub looks overall clean. That hub looks clean. That hub looks clean. Paper and debris there. That hub looks clean. Okay, it looks like there may be some on the very top of that pipe. Yeah, you can see a couple growing into the top of that pipe right there at about, so we're about 81 feet out, maybe 82 feet out. So you can see those right there. So we're going to push back forward and sit right underneath this coupling here. We're going to go ahead and pause and locate this because we need to have this designated for the map we need to create. Okay, so this root intrusion right here is just barely into the city street. It's just past the curb. And then the city, line is directly in the middle of the street. So the other root intrusions that were right before it dumps into that T, that is basically almost in the middle of the street. So that's those 3 root intrusions in the street. They're all pretty minor. One's a little bit bigger, but those will need to be maintained over time. We're now going to come back across this plastic pipe here, which we've seen already. And we're just going to come back because I want to go ahead and make sure we didn't miss anything else on this portion of the system here. As we come back in reverse, we're going to come back at a relatively quick pace. There's no need to go slow. We've already gone forward and seen that. There's that other clean out. Here's our 90, so now we're headed back in towards the foundation wall of the house here in this clean out. Here's the black ABS pipe, and now we're coming back up and out of this clean out, so we just want to go ahead and pull this out to get a point of reference here. So again, right here on the side of the house. And so this plastic pipe, again, where it connects to the cast iron here right before the foundation wall, that is the one misaligned section we have under the ground right here. And then we have a little bit of cast iron that needs to be cleaned up under the house, and then all the ABS that's holding water the rest of the way due to improper slope is going to have to be replaced and redone, unfortunately, to get it brought to code. So the line heads through this gate, just about the middle of the gate actually, where these two come together, and heads straight out to the street, and then has a few turns, and then at the curb runs a little bit of an angle and then runs out. So we're going to go ahead and create a map for the city now, but that concludes the recording for this property.